that's why I say it's teacher-student-led, because they're still going to need some support from you. Yes?
How long do you usually have the scope for?
If it's a short one, maybe 20 minutes. I've had them go on for 45 minutes. That's the longest one that I've done. Usually you need a longer amount of time when you're doing a whole class. You can also do something I'm going to talk about later. You can do it fishbowl style, where it's a small group, and then the other students have to kind of critique them. And so if it's a small group, they'll have maybe 10, maybe 15 minutes, and then it'll be time for another group to come into the fishbowl to do it.
So for my classes, I feel like we've gotten to a point where we can do the large group, but a lot of times I want to break them up into smaller groups and expect them to have conversations on their own, so you have like 4 or 5 groups, which works, but one problem I find is that when I walk over, they start talking to me. And I can't like communicate to them like, that's great, but I don't want to talk to you, I want you to talk to each other. So do you have any suggestions for avoiding that?
I guess just being really explicit at the beginning, like, I'm not here. Like telling them, like, pretend like I'm the invisible man. Like, I have superpowers, I'm invisible, and so you may see me, but part of what I'm assessing you for is your ability to carry on a conversation amongst yourselves. And so if you make that very clear that that's part of what you're assessing them on, that might help with that.
Okay, thank you.
And then the holy grail of Socratic seminars is when they're able to do this all on their own. It can get to that stage. I have had that happen with my previous 8th grade group, but it took a lot. Like it's usually at the end of the year. Like we've been doing it all year long. We started off where I was leading it, and then by the end of the year, say the last marking period, they're able to then actually lead a conversation, lead a seminar discussion really on their own, and I really don't have to interject because they've already memorized. They've had all year to memorize their vocabulary. They've had all year to practice clarifying and probing questions. They've had all year to practice, how to build upon each other's ideas, and so they're really ready to kind of run with it. The 8th graders are definitely capable of doing it on their own, definitely high school. I'm not sure about 5th grade, 6th grade. I'm not going to say they can't, but it will probably take a few more practices for them to get to that point.